What lessons can we possibly learn from people who have become narcissist proof, who repel narcissists like anything? Are there even people who have been able to do so? Yes, there are. These are those people who learned their lessons from their experiences with the narcissist and now have solid boundaries. Now they can repel narcissists from miles away. What can we learn from their life and what can we incorporate in our own? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we're going to learn 4 crucial yet tough lessons from the life of those people who have successfully become narcissist proof and are able to repel narcissists. If you're eager to dive in deep and learn, please make sure to subscribe before we begin because your subscription to the channel helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Also, I'm doing a webinar on master co-parenting with a narcissist and it is happening on 27th May. In this webinar, I'll be talking about how you can manipulate the manipulator, how you can protect your children, how you can protect your peace, and how you can heal while trying to co-parent with the narcissist. If that sounds interesting enough and you want to secure your spot, click the I button above before the booking is closed. Let's get started with number 1. It's okay to be reserved. Naturally, we tend to share a lot of information about ourselves when we come across someone who seems to be trustworthy, who comes across trustworthy. And you know, narcissists are master manipulators. They know how to put on a facade, win your trust, create a rapport so that they can channel that information in, they can extract it from you and then later use it against you. To become narcissist proof, you have to choose your battles. What does that mean? That means you have to take the risk when it's worth to be taking. If you're forming new connections, if you come across new people, you have to test them first. You have to watch their actions instead of their words, and that too for a long term. Because narcissists know how to put up with the game of love bombing you, of pretending to be someone that they are not. So you have to look for the consistency, and once your intuition testifies that they are a trustworthy person, once their actions match their words, reveal only a little bit of information to see what do they do with that. Talk about a little bit of past trauma, something that is not that big, something small, something that just happened and it impacted you mildly, and see what do they do with that information down the road. That will give you feedback about this person and who they are. All in all, what I'm trying to say here is be reserved. It's okay because we are told to be open, to be vulnerable, to share more, but that is not true and applicable in all situations. You got to be reserved to know who to trust. You got to be reserved to save yourself. You got to be reserved to protect your peace. Number 2, it is okay to cut off people whom we dearly love. It's okay to cut off your family, cut off your friends, cut off your own children for the sake of protecting your peace. If they are narcissistic as well and there is no point of return for them, it is fine. It's okay to cut off your spouse. It is basically okay to cut off anyone who is an enemy to your stability. That is the lesson number 2, which is why I said these are tough lessons, because narcissists take advantage of your emotions that you have for them. The positive emotions, if you love them, if you respect the relationship, if you are kind towards them, if you are compassionate, if you are considerate, they wouldn't be grateful that you feel all those things for them. Quite the opposite, they will predatorily take advantage of each and everything and then abuse you through the same. So you have to learn when to cut off the people. That requires you to be a little harsh. That requires you to be a little blunt. That requires you to be a little cutthroat. Now, I am not saying that you have to become a narcissist and become completely unemotional. Absolutely not. You just have to gauge the balance. You have to know where your balance is, when you are going to say no, and when you are going to end a relationship. You may think, well, I'll be ghosting people and that is not okay, and I'll be becoming like a narcissist. But in some cases, you have to understand that this person in your life is a parasite. You have to see them as such, and you have to fully accept that they are draining the life force out of you. And in such a case, you got to remove them. You got to remove them from your body because they see you as a host and nothing else. Lesson number 3 that we can learn is it is okay not to be so agreeable. If you have been a survivor of childhood trauma, you know you're parents, if they were narcissists, shaped you to become a yes man or a yes woman, which just means they taught you how to say yes to everything. They wanted you to be compliant. They wanted you to be obedient. And in the process of doing so, in the process of adapting to that environment and saving yourself, your own voice, your needs, what you truly wanted to say got suppressed. Now is the time. After learning your lessons, you got to know how to say no and properly say it instead of saying yes. You have to recognize when you truly want to say no. You have to learn how not to be bothered by what they say. You have to know how to create a wall in between their emotions and your emotions. You have to know how not to take the things they say about you personally when you set a boundary with them. That is what it means to be okay with not being so agreeable. Now, I am not saying that you have to be completely rigid. No, there are two extremes: extreme rigidity and too much flexibility. We have to navigate somewhere in the middle. We have to find our path where we are a little bit rigid, but at the same time, a little bit flexible. As they say, too much of anything is harmful. The same applies to this case. Too much openness, too much agreeableness, too much anything that puts you at risk is harmful. So you have to be okay with saying no, because no is the complete answer. Lesson number 4 that we can learn is it's okay to see people for what they are. As Maya Angelou has rightly said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That is exactly what you have to do. Because as survivors of narcissistic abuse and as a compassionate, empathetic being, you are used to giving people chances. You are used to seeing good in people. You are used to asking questions. What if they had some problems going on? What if this is not who they are? What if they are the person they were when they were treating me nicely? What if this and what if that? Basically, it's a habit, it's a trauma response to justify the actions of the abuser, to prevent abandonment, to stop them from neglecting us. Probably that is what you did in your childhood, since you had no other way to cope because you heavily depended on your parents. Now, that is not the case. You have to see them for who they are. Once someone reveals their true colors, do not paint them differently. Do not paint them with a different color. If someone is a devil, see them as a devil, because that is who they are going to be. You painting them differently is not going to change the truth. You are going to create that illusion for yourself, but the truth will reveal itself to you. And when it will do so, it will hurt you a lot. Which is why you have to stop justifying people's evil nature and see the evil when it shows itself.